I don't know if we're still muted.
Well, John's on the phone.
Is there sound now? Can people hear us now? Put up the ones in chat if you can hear us.
Yeah, please put a 1 in the chat. Johnny's a mess right now trying to figure out what's going on here. He's got the phone numbers and everything.
Okay. All right. They can hear us now.
Are we back? Okay, good. Sorry, everybody.
Okay.
It's a little chaotic over here.
Yeah. Again, welcome to the Dudes and Belts Recharged. I am the Coastal Crusader. I'm handling the intro tonight, as you can see on the screen here. Johnny's on the phone for obvious reasons, as we saw at the end of it. To my right here is my brother from a couple states down, Mr. Marky Pins.
Yes, sir. We watched a great episode of Charge tonight, and then we saw what happened to Lucas Bradwell at the very end. We were going to do one kind of recharge show, and now we're all kind of stunned. John is in a tizzy trying to figure out what's going on. We're all in a little bit of a disarray here, as you can tell. But we're going to pull a show together out of this. John's trying to figure things out. Coastal and I are here, and we're going to give a rundown of the show. But I think everybody's thinking about Lucas Bradwell right now, trying to figure out, make sure everything's okay.
Absolutely. I mean, the last time this happened, we haven't seen Owen Easton since. And
yes.
It's been close to 8-9 months.
Yep.
I mean, we see Lucas every week on this show, and we got close to him. Like, we're worried about him. Like, this is very serious. He wound up in a van straight out of a horror movie, Mark.
He did. He really did. This is the second time we've lost somebody close to the show, on the show, like to David Drake now. David is in another world of his own, kidnapping people and taking them away like that. Lucas was hogtied in the van, for God's sakes. I mean, that guy, he's a husband, he's a father. Like, I'm really worried about him right now. David is just unhinged. David Drake is something different right now, and all we can do is really just hope for the best for Lucas Bradwell, man. I hope Johnny gets some kind of information, can clue us into something, because we're grasping at straws here on this one.
Yeah, I think Johnny's back here now.
Okay.
We'll go over this more later. Johnny, any updates at all?
So I've been in touch with a few people out back. I've been in touch with, obviously, Yaden, and I've been trying to talk to Brew, because Brew is obviously very concerned. We all know that Brew and Lucas are very good friends backstage. And I'm trying to get some info out of him. And I mean, I left the guy 3 voicemails today trying to figure out if he was going to be on or not, and I haven't heard anything at all. So when we didn't see him tonight in Discord, that was very concerning, because that's not like him at all.
No.
And so he's been on this show for a little over a month, and we consider him an honorary dude. And he loved every bit of what we did, and we're just hoping for the best for him right now, and hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
We are going to go through with the show. We are going to try and muscle through it as best as we can. Obviously, our minds are currently elsewhere right now, so I would appreciate everybody in chat if you just kind of, stick with us here and, help us get us through this show, because obviously our minds are very much, focused on the health and well-being of Lucas Bradwell right now.
Yeah, especially with that's just exactly how the show ended, and then we just picked up right here. Like, this threw us up for a big-time loop here too, but we got to get through a recharge here, boys. We got to somehow get this done, and like Johnny said, just bear with us in the chat. We're going to give it the old college try here.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more probably later on about what happened, because this isn't the first time that David Drake has even thought about doing something, and we'll shed out a little bit more light later on. But
I have questions.
Trust me, and I will say this right now, that there is an ongoing search by a few people.
Good. At least that's underway. That's huge.
Good.
That's good.
All right. Let's try and keep an even keel here.
That's some kind of news anyway.
The show must go on.
Yep.
And so let's just regain our composure here, and let's get through this show. All right. Let's talk about the opening segment of the show with Dax Draper and Curtis Cole. It seems like they're right back at it again. Or mainly Cole is.
Yeah, I mean, we start out the show and we see Dak arriving, and I mean, I didn't think the car was that bad. I mean, for a guy like Dak, maybe, but I really liked it. Apparently, Curtis Cole didn't, or it was parked in the wrong spot, or it was the wrong color, or I don't know what his Karen problem was this week, but he decides to take a loaded sucker punch right upside the head of Dak and hit him and then run away like the person he is. This is just more of Curtis Cole's MO. He is like that really, really annoying fly that's in your house that you just cannot get rid of.
You know, he's just taking out this aggression on Dak Draper, and once again, after he knocked
Jealousy.
him with well, he said, "You're in my spot again." So this is something that Cole is using anytime he sees Draper, whatever it is his, and Draper is there, and Cole's just using that as an opportunity. It doesn't have anything to do with his spot. This has everything to do, I think you're right, Coastal, with a jealous Curtis Cole that sees Dak Draper back and feels threatened. I mean, maybe any one of us would feel threatened by that, but there's other ways to go about your business, and Curtis Cole is not handling it in the way that two grown men should handle things.
All right. Moving on. We also had another segment out back, which was also very, very eye-opening, to say the least. We saw last week that Bruce Wayans lost his match against Dak Draper.
Yes.
And so, from what Brucey said, is that he would walk away from Rocky Mountain Pro if he lost, and indeed he did last week. And so it looked like he was making his rounds in the locker room, almost kind of saying goodbye to a few of his faves, and then all of a sudden Atiba comes out and says what he has to say to Boss. And I'm just going to leave that up to you guys to finish it off.
I mean, I think there's two sides to this coin. I think that on the plus side, he is trying to motivate Boss and get him back up to where he wants to be. But he's doing it selfishly. He's not doing it for Boss, because the other side of the coin is, let's face it, Atiba has no real allies in that locker room right now. And
Not
Boss
anymore.
has always been his ally. Boss even said he still had his back. He didn't like what he was doing, but he would still have his back. Now Atiba's kind of cashing in on that, but he wants Boss to take the road that he has traveled to become, I'll use air quotes, successful, because he didn't beat Yaden. But Marky, do you see Boss tempted to go down this road of nutting up, if you will?
Judging by Boss's reaction as Atiba walked away, I gotta put the percentages at 50-50 here that he's thinking about it. You saw his face. He didn't exactly just say, no, I ain't going there. He kind of looked like he was standing there thinking about it for a couple seconds. And I mean, let's just be honest about it here. Ever since Atiba has started going lower, as he's like to say, Atiba's been finding a lot of success here and there. Granted, like you said, he didn't beat Yaden in that traditional classic match. However, almost every other time he stepped in the ring, he's getting W's all over the place here. So it's really working out for Atiba, as much as we like it or we don't. And I think that right now, unfortunate fact crossed Bruce Waynes' mind.
Well, here's something else that should cross Bruce's mind, and this is from the Coastal Crusader to you, Bruce. Think about, is Atiba really concerned about you getting back on your feet and winning, or is he concerned about having someone to help him finally beat and win the big one? I don't know if it's so much for you, Bossies. It's for him.
Again, I say I believe the percentages are 50-50. Half of it is for Atiba's own personal well-being and having an ally when, you're right, at this point, he has lost almost all of them at this point. And the other half of it is to see his friend, because they have been friends. They were a great tag team together in Chopper City. A little bit of it was probably for his friend, but I do believe the better half of the other side of it was to kind of bring them together so that Atiba has somebody else to have his back. Not good for Boss, though, either way.
All right. I'm just going to leave you guys with this match. My phone's going off the hook right now. I am going to have to take this phone call. It's probably about the ongoing situation.
Yep.
So,
Understood.
Judy Azul going one-on-one with Skylar Slice, and there was a lot of stuff that happened during this match as well that these guys will touch up on. Blockheads action for you here. Coastal and Marky will take it away for the next few minutes.
Do the thing, Johnny.
We're seeing Skylar Slice. As we know, she's a big powerhouse in the Lockettes division. And she's to get back up to the top. We saw her there once before. She's looking to climb that ladder again. She looks a lot more agile than we'd seen in the past. She starts this out, she has an arm drag. And then we see a big shotgun drop kick.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, we see a side kick. These are all very agile moves for someone who is of the bigger size, especially in that Lockettes division. Then Damon Ace shows up for some unknown reason while this match is going on in the ring. And he comes over to Dean and he's whispering to him. You can't hear a lot, but it's something about your blood. And something about, is this how you want to handle business? And meanwhile, there's still a match going on in the ring. And then we see Yaden come out, apparently to try and, of course, he is, he runs the company. He wants to make sure his show is running smoothly. Damon Ace is interrupting an ongoing match. He probably went out as an official to remove him. Just so happens that they aren't particularly getting along well right now, as very few people do with Damon Ace. And there's a brawl that breaks out, and even D'Lo gets up and separates people. And then we finally get back to the match. It's just a full-on brawl. Slice hits a big sky-high, big slam. She gets the win. But again, the story here is still the ongoing, I guess I'll call it hatred, disdain, that Damon Ace just apparently has for everyone. What do you think, Marky? I mean, is Damon now, what has he got on El Presidente? Something about his blood? That's concerning.
That's very concerning, right? Like you said, we could hear very, very little about what he was whispering to Danger Dean at commentary right next to D'Lo Brown. But you do hear him say something about this is your blood or your blood. And then you're right. Then we get the absolute melee behind the commentator's table. You got guardrails flying all over the place. There's a match going on in the ring. We finally get everything separated. Look, this is Damon Ace doing Damon Ace things, not caring if there's a match going on. His situation will always be paramount in any other given situation, and that's just Damon Ace's way. We've seen it, we know it, we've experienced it personally, haven't we? So at this moment in time, Damon is out there doing what he wants. He still has this thing for Yaden. He still knows that it's him who's the measuring stick, and that's a fact. You walk into RMP, and if you're an outside talent, usually you get stuck with Damon Ace. Like we see that on Ignitions a lot. He is that measuring stick. But for Damon Ace, there is one measuring stick, and that is Mercury Yaden, the head of the company, the NRW champion right now. He is Damon's measuring stick, and I think it's bugging him that the last time they faced, he didn't beat him. And now here we go, and Matt Yaden's not giving him the match, and it's just not happening. So Damon is doing everything he can to goad Mercury into coming out and doing it, including coming out and wrecking a fantastic Lockettes match. Skylar and Azul were having a great battle back and forth. It was, the giant, like the David Goliath matchup. Even though Azul's got some size to him, man, Skylar just brings that presence. But the giant strikes, the big drop kicks, the sky high, it was just far too much to overcome. But Skylar getting the win, but the real story here is Damon Ace continuing to push the issue now during a episode of Charge in the match, in the middle of the match, coming out and distracting the commentators, causing the melee at ringside. Damon does this. He brings chaos and anarchy everywhere he goes. That is the Damon Ace way.
He thrives
of
on
doing things. He does. He absolutely does. Like persistence and like consistency of doing things is one thing. But Damon turns that up to 15, and he turns it into anarchy and just his way, which is right now, right here. Don't care what's happening anywhere else. Like I said, we've experienced it before here. He's jumped into our show and wrecked our show before just because Damon had something to say. And now he does it tonight during the match.
Yeah, and you know what? It's very smart of him if you think about it. He thrives in it. He lives in chaos all the time. Normal people don't. Sane people don't live like this. So when he makes everything around you a tornado and you're just busy looking around, this is his environment. You are now in his environment. It's just one more advantage. We've used this phrase before to describe him. he is violently intelligent. And this is another aspect of just how insanely intelligent he is.
He managed to throw everybody in the arena off, including the competitors and the referee in the ring. When he started this melee outside, he threw the whole Wimmer arena into chaos to go out there
Just by being there.
Right, and bend Dean's ear and get his moment at the cost of somebody else's moment. Damon Ace.
All right, sorry about that, guys. That's probably
Understood.
That's probably going to happen possibly a few times during the course of this show.
Okay.
Nothing yet, so no new updates as of right now. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we have Remy D backstage trying to find his jacket.
Not impressed. Remy is not impressed.
No, and poor Mick almost screwed up there.
I mean, Mick, Mind Freak, Chris Angel, Diamond, is that who you're talking about with his magic tricks? He's busy doing a card trick, and Remy is. Listen, there's an unwritten rule, and it doesn't even need to be written. And D'Lo talked about it later on. You don't go through somebody else's stuff in the locker room, in any locker room anywhere, football field, hockey. You don't touch another person's gear in their locker.
Right.
This is tenfold when it's Remy D. You do not sully and put your dirty hands on Remy's wonderful accessories and attire. And Remy had to be bleeped, and I understand, Remy, you got fired up. Usually you're a very classy man that does not use cuss words, but I can understand you were very fired up. And that's going to happen.
Oh, dude, he was wicked pissed. He was wicked pissed. Cod tricks be damned. Couldn't care.
I take it, but we find out later who took Remy's jacket, and it's not going to end well, is it, Mark?
No, I really don't think so. Manny we find out later that the culprit is Manny Lemons and Reka Tahaka, that they took his jacket. But at the same time, Manny hadn't been around long enough to really get the vibe of Remy D. And I get a funny feeling he'll end up feeling that wrath, and he'll taste that glitter bomb that he's going to get directly to the face at some point in time. But Remy D right now is an absolute pissed off individual. He has his title, but he lost his jacket. And his jacket is his life, and his life is his jacket. What is wrong with this man who took his jacket?
We have more rules. You don't punch Remy in the face.
No.
Do not touch the hair. And you don't touch the wardrobe.
I like counting to three. That's three good ones.
We also had Yaden backstage as well after he just got done with his melee with Damon Ace. Nathan Estrada coming to him and asking him to at least watch his match because he wants to possibly see if Yaden could give him some pointers during the match after the fact. And you can tell that Damon Ace is well within Yaden's mind at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, we understand Yaden is a busy dude, but he normally has time for the younger competitors to sit down and talk with them. We've seen it after matches. He'll take a moment and listen and explain to you some things you can do better out there to get the most out of your potential. It's not like Yaden to usually have that attitude. Again, thriving in chaos is what Damon Ace does. It's a different kind of chaos for Yaden, but we kind of see he's frustrated. This is what Yaden needs to be careful of. He's able to gather himself and talk to Nathan Estrada normally, but Marky, is this what Damon wants? Is this he just wants him completely consumed with the idea of Damon?
Well, this is what Damon Ace does. He throws people off their game and makes them into what he wants to see, which is somebody who's flustered off of their own bearings. And that's exactly what happened, what we saw with Mercury Yaden earlier. Like, he's running around trying to regain some order, and Nathan Estrada's there, getting ready for the match. And he does a smart thing, asking of a more experienced veteran to give him some pointers and watch. And, Yaden's flustered, and he kind of, gives him the business, like, dude, you got to leave me alone. But then, like, he pulled it together and kind of regained his breath and kind of just said, all right, listen, I got a lot going on, but I'll find some time. I'll watch a match, and that'll be cool. And that put a smile on Estrada's face. So even in a really, really bad moment in Yaden's evening, he still stopped and managed to give the kid 3 seconds of his time, which is all you can really ask for at the time. But right now, Yaden has a lot of other pertinent things going on, and most all of them involve Damon Hayes.
All right. I just got a couple text messages along my way because they're gonna try and not call me every 5 minutes. So, boys, CBD versus Nathan Estrada in what I think is a very, very good match between these two.
Yes,
it is. They're such great people on each side because similar build, but very opposite in how they approach a match. CBD, for all his credit, he looks like Terry Taylor to me. If anybody remembers Terry Taylor from back in the day.
Yes,
Very
good
much
call.
same kind of that old NWA style offense, and we see it here. Concentrate on a joint, really work an opponent down, take it away. Nathan Estrada on the other side, man, flip that coin because high fly, quickness, always on the move. And each guy uses that to their advantage. We see CBD getting the advantage early, concentrating on the arm, really using power moves. And Estrada's able to get that advantage back because of his ability, to be fast. And, he catches CBD off guard. But it's what it is here. And we see the high impact moves. We see a cutter by Estrada near the end of the match that I thought was the end of the match. Unfortunately, It wasn't, but this is where CBD has done such a good job on the arm. Did he get enough on the arm in the cutter? Was it hurt too much to really be effective? We'll never know because CBD slaps on an arm bar and ultimately wins this match. CBD is very, very interesting to watch. If he can get the space between his ears, Marky, on key, I really think he could be a very, very dominant person. Marky, you're a ref. Interesting thing happened at the end of this. CBD gave the ref a smooch. So I guess he appreciated his reffing ability pretty well. So you got that to look forward to.
Yeah, I did notice that. And that's one thing that hasn't quite happened to me yet, as I've reffed matches back and forth, thankfully, too, from CBD. I might have rolled him up and counted my own pin in that moment if he did that to me. But no, CBD is very impressive. He's come up and he shows a lot, except I think the problem is I don't know what is louder, the echo between his ears or the echo that comes out of the microphone at this point in time, because he's coming out with that blowhorn, and man, he's telling everybody how great he is and how awesome he is. And D'Lo Brown said something really good on commentary, and if CBD hears this might be a little bit humbling to the man, whether or not he thinks he needs humbling or not. But D'Lo said something that really reverberated. When you're good, you tell people about it. When you're great, they'll tell you about it. And he may be there someday. He may be great someday. But right now, he is good. He is very good. And him and Estrada have a banger of a match here. I've been a Nathan Estrada fan since we first seen him. I like his character. I think he's great in the ring. He does have the flying ability, but then he'll ground you, like you said, with that cool cutter.
Gives me wicked Kofi vibes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, just not as like tall and lanky, but the same type of offense, fast moving, but at the same time quicker than you think on the mat as well. That cutter that he hit too, it looked like he almost got his knee up in it too at the same time. So it was almost like a knee drop cutter or something to that effect. It was very, very cool looking. He had him there, but I think that CBD had the plan from the moment the first bell rang, that he knew he was going to go after Estrada's arm because he knew he was winning tonight, or he was going to go for that arm bar later on in the match, and he needed to weaken it down. And he did the entire match. You saw him working the arm, working the shoulder, the snaps over his head, and just the regular arm bars and stuff. And it proved successful for CBD. Hopefully, Yaden has a couple pointers for Estrada when he comes back to the back after the match, and maybe they got to talk for a second or two. But wrestling, great matches, but CBD was just a skosh better tonight. That's all.
All right. Moving on. We saw backstage Lucas Bradwell interviewing Manny Lemons and Rekka as well. And there's a puppy there.
That's my dog.
That's a puppy. That's
I'm gonna
that's
try to get her
pins.
down. That's
puppy pins. Yeah, puppy pins.
Good looking dog.
We needed a dog to bring some cheer tonight in the show, so that's good.
Yeah.
She's a good girl. She just wants loves. That's all.
Yeah,
But it's okay.
And this turns out to be one of the last times we've seen Lucas tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's.
But it was creepy when we saw it at the end. Coastal, you'll get to that, won't you?
Yeah. So the interview itself is interesting because you have Manny Lemons talking about how trying to get attention, or he's making a statement, and Rekka doesn't say much. She doesn't have to. But this is what I don't understand, Manny. Life had given you the last name of Lemons, and you have decided to get made into lemonade by Remy D. Do you understand the horrible things that Remy is going to do with you because you have sullied the coat? And then they leave, and all of a sudden we see David Drake appear through the curtain, and this is very bad foreshadowing for what we see later. I don't know what Drake is doing. I don't understand. What did Lucas do? This is my question. What prompted this right here to start it?
Does Drake really need a thing? At this moment in time, I saw that, and at the end of that, we see Drake poke his like sadistic head out from the back of the curtain and stand there. Lucas doesn't see it, and I'm saying, I asked myself the same question: what has Lucas done? Which, if you go back, and the answer is really nothing, at least that we can remember. But then my brain, the other half of my brain said, well, does David Drake really need a reason right now?
Well,
and
we
the
don't.
answer to that,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I don't know if David Drake even needs a reason. All he needs is a suggestion. All he needs is any kind of thought to do things. And we see David Drake do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
I know, but it wasn't like Lucas snubbed him for an interview or something, because the man doesn't talk. So was he upset about Manny Lemons? Take it out on maybe, I don't know.
I was hoping that he was showing up to Lucas because maybe he finally did have something to say, and who else would you go to finally say what you have to say other than
the guy with
the microphone man? Right. Lucas Bradwell is the microphone man out west in Denver, and that is the man to talk to. I was hoping maybe we would have heard some words out of him maybe at the end of the show, but something else happened at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep on moving right along here. We had Dredd Roberts doing his own little segment called The Waiting Room. And apparently he made the diagnosis that Brew was fine. And then everything else that transpired just culminated after the past couple weeks when Dredd attacked Brew. So Dr. Dredd cleared Brew, and Brew waited not a moment after he said he was cleared to come out and make sure to double check that information. And I understand how Brew thinks that Dredd learns. It's osmosis, Sparky. He learns from absorbing the information from the clipboard that he drove through his head.
Physically absorbing it. Mm-hmm. Yes, actually, that makes complete sense. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Brew's not done, but he extracted a little bit of his own medicine tonight from the doctor.
And Dredd deserved it, man. When he come out and took his cheap shots the other night, Brew was in a different state, man. Like, his head got gonged, and he had the cuckoo birds flying around. We've all seen the old school cartoons. And yes, when Ref and Dredd were trying to help him up, he started throwing hands to get people off. But you see him kind of look and see who's there, and he starts putting the pieces together. All right, wait, these guys are here to help me. And then that's when Dredd kind of took his own liberties and brought this to an unhealthy place. Tonight, this is exactly what the Buffalo ordered. Okay, not the doctor. This is exactly what the Buffalo ordered. He needed a measure of this, and that clipboard will just never, ever be the same again, because you're right. Dredd now knows how clipboards break by osmosis, and Brew gets a little bit of a shred of revenge back, and he deserved it. He needed that little piece, because the other night wasn't a good time, and then Dredd comes up and makes it doubly as bad. Brew needed this tonight. Good for the Buffalo.
All right, and obviously his mind is elsewhere now, besides Dredd Roberts, as, again, he's been one of the ones that have been keeping me updated throughout this whole thing. Moving on, We do have a tag team elimination match here between La Isla going up not one-on-one, going up against JK Pop, your reigning tag team champions. Your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, this was very, very good. Anytime these teams get together, it's going to be good. But this is kind of part two when we see a different La Isla. There's some attitude on these guys. Normally they're out there fun, smile, live it. No, this was all business. And we see it early in the match because much like Aces Wild, they really control the early part of this match in Caden Koyama. And they really start taking it out on him because the Lone Ranger over in the corner doesn't get in the match for a while. For anybody that doesn't know, that's Johnny Casanova in his mask.
He says the Lone Ranger. I love it.
Yeah. But here's the thing about JK Pop. They're tag team champs for a reason. And the reason is once they get an advantage, no matter how they get it, once they get you on their half of the ring, it becomes 1.5 times harder than anybody else makes it to get to your partner. They isolate the ring so well. They double team so well. Hey, they figured out what it was early in this match, though, to catch that JK Pop getting popped in the corner because they both caught it when Johnny tried to give Caden a hug. Apparently, he thought brother was upset. Ran across the ring to give him a great big hug in the corner and got kicked in the back for it. But later on, we see JK Pop do that. And it's just, these 4 guys are such great tag team wrestlers and wrestlers in general that the match flows so well. Then we get JK Pop crap. The mask comes off. Johnny amazingly is healed. He doesn't need it anymore. He feels safe, apparently. Throws it to brother, and brother sees if Echo needs it and introduces it to his face. That's not how masks work. That's not how they protect faces. That's how they break faces. They read the instructions wrong. Surprise, surprise. But Echo ends up getting eliminated. So now it's Balaam 1-on-1 or 1-on-2. And this shows you the heart of Balaam Lynx and the drive. He's not frustrated that Echo's eliminated. He just knows he has to bear down harder. He weathers a massive storm from the two of JK Pop. He ends up hitting Caden with an animality.
Mm-hmm.
Gets the count because brother's too late getting in, and then it's from there. It's a 1-on-1 with Johnny and Balaam. Johnny keeps trying to use the mask. Apparently, he doesn't understand that's going to get him. It's going to get him eliminated. He hits a gory special for a 2, which I give Johnny Casanova props. When he wants to wrestle, man, the man hits a pretty gory special, and he is good.
We've said it so many times. He's good.
He does.
Good, right. But then all we remember is you used your mask, though.
Yeah, but it bites him tonight. He goes to use that mask. The ref grabs it. And then the most devastating move in wrestling that I know of, the roll-up victory small package. La Isla gets a win over JK Pop. Not a title win, but a win.
A win.
Now, Marky.
Yes,
I have
sir.
a question. Are things starting to add up on JK Mountain? Is it starting to get heavy up there with maybe Caden's not so much concentrating on the titles as he is on his love life? Now brother's face hurts a lot. Is he putting everything into it? You got all these new partnerships with Sky Hossman and the Martin Casaus that their mentor Preston. Have they maybe put themselves too thin?
Yeah, that's a very valid point, Coastal Crusader, that, look, we saw JK Pop doing their things and defending and keeping their titles, and things seemed a lot easier to deal with for them when it was just the 2 of them. They had Preston, and okay, fine, maybe this is even more detrimental, but now Preston is adding Sky Hossman, and he's brought in the house of Casaus, like, into the law firm and everybody combined. There's a lot going on in JK Pop land right now, and I think that maybe their partnership is kind of taking a back seat to a lot of the personal things that we have going on. You have Casanova kind of upset here and there with Preston about worrying about more orange things than the yellow belts that your champions are wearing. You have Caden that's dealing a lot with Lola the Adventurer. Preston's distracted. He's not as available as he was. Now Sky Hossman coming in. I'm telling you, I really don't think that they're all on the same page. I'm not saying J.K. Pop is not on the same page, but what I'm saying is that that page is quickly turning, and they're keeping up with it. But it's only a matter of time before they get tripped up by that page and pick a big paper cut. And if you get a paper cut in a match with La Isla, that's a paper cut that's going to cost you about 8 pounds of gold from each one of your waists. So it's a very valid point. We'll have to see how they do going forward with it. But as far as right now goes, they're picking up wins here and there. Tonight was a big loss, though, a big L in an elimination match where they were up 2-on-1 versus the former number one contenders. This is a big, big deal. I know we have the tag team elimination tournament going on, but this is one of those matches that is going to keep Presidente Peligro's eyes on the TV, and he's going to keep remembering who beat J.K. Pop and when. It's only a matter of time, baby.
Mark, you and I have coached young kids before. We understand they're very influenced by their surroundings.
Yes.
J.K. Pop is similar. I'm not calling them young kids, even though they act like it sometimes. But they're very influenced by their surroundings. Look at them a couple years ago with the Wake. They were focused because now power, winning, having everything, the one singular focus.
Yep.
They were focused. Now they get over where they're having some fun with Preston and living the life, and Preston's not super focused. They're not super focused.
Oh, Preston's very focused. I'll give Preston. He's very focused. But that focus is divided in many, many different areas. It's not put forward straight into one team of J.K. Pop. There's so many other spokes on the wheel now that it's very, very difficult for him to keep 100% focus. His 100% focus is now divided. So he's probably an extremely busy man, but each one of his clients is starting to see less and less of him.
There's too many folders in the file cabinet at the firm.
That's right. That's right. I don't know, man. I think we're getting close to something here.
All right. We're moving on here. We're almost done with the show, guys.
Yep.
Moving up. Oh, jeez. Moving on. We had a Sin Bodhi segment backstage. Now, there were a few matches announced for next week coming up. Yes, Coastal's going to be loving this segment. One of these matches that are going to be coming up next week on the next episode of Charge will be Sin Bodhi versus Justin Taylor. Now, they did had a run-in during last week's Elimination Gauntlet Tornado match. And Sin Bodhi probably, by all rights, should have won that one. But,
agreed.
But we know how the West Texas Legacy operates. They're still going to be a team going forward in 2023. Sin Bodhi has had some words to say to Justin tonight. And, boys, why don't we start off with Coastal? Because I can tell that he's all excited about.
Yeah, I only heard what Sin Bodhi said because as soon as I saw him, I shut my eyes and hid and just listened. Because
Coastal,
that man,
it's not your fault. It's okay. It's not your fault.
Mark, stop it. He is like, and he said he wasn't a happy clown. That should be a keyword. Justin to run for his life. Sin Bodhi is the warlord of weird for a reason. Nothing is going to be simple and basic. And if Punchy Face gets involved, he's going to look like one of those clowns. The bumper clowns that just fall down, come back up, fall down, come back up. That's what Sin Bodhi is going to make him look like. They need to keep their noses out of his big red clown nose business.
They did stick their nose in his business last week, and that's what earned his ire this week. And Justin Taylor, although we've seen him be elite, we've seen him go with almost anybody, this is going to be one of those career tests for the man. We've seen him go with almost everybody. We've seen the matches he's had.
But
on
nothing like Sin.
Sin Bodhi is a different kind of human. Not wrestler, not character, human. Okay? He is not going to come up there and just lock up and some arm drags and get to your way that you like to do your stuff to keep control. Sin is out there to throw you off balance. He is out there to throw you off guard because all of his offense is that unorthodox. This is going to be a huge test for Justin Taylor, giving the man his props, but you also have to give those props to Sin Bodhi, and the experience element in this match is heavily in Sin Bodhi's favor. the unpredictability element is heavily in Sin Bodie's favor. However, we've seen the West Texas Legacy overcome those odds before by increasing the odds on their own side. I got a funny feeling, though, there'll be a couple other people from Wonderland coming out of the rabbit hole should things be necessary.
Oh, the clown car won't be empty.
It's going to be a hell of a fight next week between Sin Bodie and Justin Taylor. That's going to be a hell of a match.
All right, and wrapping everything up tonight, we had a Charge Championship matchup between Curtis Cole and Remy D. Boys, what did you think about this one? It was eventually a disqualification.
Yeah, no. Fighting Curtis Cole must be like fighting the kid that just runs up and pushes you at the playground and then goes and hides behind his mom. Like that's all I can figure out, because the man used to be one of the greatest tag team wrestlers in the company. He and Yaden, the tag dudes were great. And then he wrestled Steven Ashburn, and that was one of the best matches I'd ever seen Curtis Cole wrestle. I don't know who hurt Curtis Cole in between that time and Peak of the Pack when he turned on Yaden. I don't know what has happened to this man, but it has just made him an unsufferable person to be around. Same wrestler, but just unsufferable. The man he doesn't understand that you don't need to be liked, but you need to be respected. And right now, no one respects him when all he does is get in there and shake his butt around, and then it's, try and punch you in the back of the head with brass knucks. Now, I give it to, Remy gave him a little bit of his own with the butt pat, and, Remy was game, and Remy is always game.
Always.
And this match was great. I give Curtis Cole credit. He came to dance with Remy, and he was very willing and able to. This was the most evenly matched I have seen for Remy in quite some time, honestly. And I didn't know who was going to win until Manny Lemons decided to show up and show off the coat he stole from Remy, and then just get involved in the match and ruin it. And unfortunately, it rules a no contest. It was a great match. I really want to see it again. I do. As much as Curtis Cole makes me vomit in my mouth when I see him, just because of the disgusting human being he's become, I like to watch the man wrestle. And going up against Remy D is amazing.
You can't say anything bad about Cole tonight. He other than what he did with Dak Draper earlier in the night, in this match here tonight.
Oh, he got his though.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, we don't see the end of Dak. Dak comes out, and Manny and Curtis get taken to Dropkick Land by Remy and Dak Draper. Remy D tag team, I guess we'll call it. The mile high Remy D's. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out with that. But no, this is also very formidable, and I didn't know that I wanted it until I saw it. When I saw Remy and Dak standing next to each other, I went, I need more of that. Because they looked on par with each other. They were quick with each other right there, and this seems like a natural partnership between the two of them.
And I'd love to see him take on Manny and Curtis. They seem to like each other.
It's well deserved. Right, at this point, Manny's sticking his nose where it didn't belong, stealing Remy's jacket. What is wrong with you, sir? You steal Remy's jacket, and then you come out and flaunt it in front of him like he's not going to... That was stupid. And he ended up paying for it in a way that he absolutely deserved it. Remy got his jacket back, and we see the partnership of Dak Draper and Remy D standing tall at the end of all of this. Curtis Cole, I got to say one thing. You can't take anything out of him in this match. You can't take anything away or pin any of this on him because, to be honest, dude showed up to wrestle and looked good. This is another case of what we say about JK Pop and Casanova and the guys, that you guys are so good that when you do wrestle these matches, they are very impressive and they make all of us go, wow, like so many times during the match.
And respect you.
Correct. And whether you want our respect or not is completely irrelevant. The fact that you're out there doing it in the ring in front of all of us is what matters at that moment in time, and we respect that. However, when you turn around and act like the absolute pile of human garbage that you are half the time, it takes away from a lot of that. But tonight, Your performance actually took a little bit away from the pile of garbage. Maybe like one paper towel, maybe one small paper towel, but that's about it. But otherwise, great match to be wrestled. Manny came in and screwed it up. And then Dak and Remy D took care of business as they should. But then.
All right, guys, bring it home because I'm chatting still
Yeah.
as we speak.
There's
Yep.
We see Lucas getting cornered in, it looks like, the workout area of the Wimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And when we cut back to the end of the show, he is in a van, very scary looking van, and the very scary man, David Drake, slams the door. And we see
Pleading.
Lucas tied up, pleading for his life.
Yes.
I've never seen Lucas that scared. Honestly. I mean, I've known the man for a couple years now through this. I've never seen the man that scared. I've never seen some of my friends that scared. Like, that's a man who is seeing bad things in his future, and this psychopath slamming a door.
Mm-hmm.
In a van that is stereotypical of every bad story you've ever heard in your life has a van that looks like that, Mark.
Every single one.
I'm concerned for our friend.
You know, you have to understand where he's coming from, you know, where Lucas is coming. It's like, it's one thing if something happens to you, but then you look, Coastal, you and I are fathers, we have children, we're married, we're what? Can you imagine if somebody against your will just did that and you didn't even know why? At that moment, you are scared for your own life, but now, not even after that, you think of your wife, you think of your children, you think of their future having to deal without you because of some psychopath that had a thought and decided to kidnap you like you were in some bad horror movie. Except this wasn't a horror movie. This was real life. And this happened to a very good friend of ours, a man who's not even an in-ring competitor. The man is the microphone man, dude. He is the microphone man. He is the host of Ignition. He is the voice of Rocky Mountain Pro. And you throw him in the van and you just take him to Owen Easton land or wherever you're going to take him. I'm worried for the man. I really am.
Say what you want about, sometimes we don't know what we're talking about, or people may come across what we say is, or Marky stepped up, and he got beat down by Damon, but it was in a ring, and Marky stood up for himself. Lucas didn't say a cross word to Drake at all, and is now somewhere in the back of a van. We think
this isn't entertainment. This was real life to the face. As hard as it could be. This is not good. This is beyond. This is one thing, like, we've all been worried about where Owen Easton has been for a long time. And if the only, and I mean the literal only silver lining that could come from something like this is if we do find Lucas, if somebody finds Lucas Bradwell, hopefully soon, maybe we find Owen Easton at the same time, because God only knows what kind of condition that man's been in over the last 6, 7, 8 months since we lost him after Milestone. This is one kind of dude David Drake is right now, and this terrorization, this reign of fire that he is holding over Rocky Mountain Pro is really, really disturbing. It hit us wicked hard before we started doing the show. We were here in the call and we were talking before the show, and then all of us at once, faces dropped, jaws hit the table, because that's Lucas. That's not Bruce Wayne's. That's not Atiba. That's not one of the other regular stars that go in the ring and do this every day, every night. This is the microphone man. What are you doing with the microphone man? Leave the microphone man alone. I'm really worried for our honorary 6th dude, man. I really am.
Yeah,
Johnny, anything on the waves? Anything on the water?
So, after everything so far tonight, they're trying to look at who was on the outside and trying to see if they can get a description of the van, get a license plate, all that stuff.
That's a start.
There's not a lot of info right now. Obviously, nobody has heard and seen from Lucas. I have not either. I am extremely screwed up in the head because he's an honorary dude, and I love the guy. And
he's one of us, man.
This is not this is not the first time that Drake has done something to hit home, especially with me. I'm sure you guys all saw a few months ago with Owen Easton, part of Team Joe. We all
Yep.
know the bond and the friendship that I have with him and that whole entire crew, and we still can't find Owen Easton, and that I'm not right, and I can't do anything about it because I'm over 2,000 miles away. So I'm at a loss right now.
Yeah, it's even worse for us being this far away.
That's the thing. There's nothing. We can't even come out and help. This is our buddy. This is our honorary bro, our honorary dude here. We can't even come help, man.
So right now, I mean, I really don't have any words. I'm even surprised that we even completed the show. At least me. You guys did a fantastic job. I can't thank you guys enough with the ongoing situation. You guys pulled it through as always.
Just keep us informed, man. That's all we need.
Trying to be professional, trying to stay credible, trying to do the right thing here, and just you're our liaison with some info, bro. Just pass it along as soon as you get it. Just please let us know.
All right. It wouldn't be right if I didn't close the show the way that I should have opened it. Thank you for taking the reins, Coastal, towards the beginning and getting everything on the ball and getting everything rolling for this show. I mean, I don't really care at this point at my mental state of mind, but I do have to say this, otherwise I wouldn't be doing my job. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, if you don't mind, please go into the video, like and subscribing, turn on the notifications, and make sure you ring the bell so you don't miss any more content that goes live on the Rocky Mountain Pro YouTube channel. Obviously, didn't really get a chance to shout out a lot of members tonight. Obviously, we're not going to be doing our Q&A session tonight because it's just not right.
No, not after this. No.
Yeah, what I'm feeling right now is not right at all. So I can't go forth and do a Q&A. It wouldn't be right on me to answer your questions in this type of a mood. So I apologize. We'll do an extended version either on Thursday or Tuesday or whenever. Hopefully by Thursday we can figure out something, and hopefully Lucas is okay and he's back on commentary on Thursday again. I don't know what's going on. But people are looking out, and we're going to try and get some answers for everybody as best as we can, because I know all you guys in the RMP faithful are very concerned as well, as much as us and the locker room right now. So we appreciate your guys' patience. YouTube, we're going to sign off for the night. Again, thank you all for watching. I know, rough time, but hopefully Thursday and next Tuesday will be a little bit better for you guys. We'll all be in good spirits knowing that Lucas will be back on the show with us next Tuesday and he's all right, and we can just move forward. And I can tell you right now, though, I am a very, very, very huge Sledge fan right now, and I hope, honest to God, he kicks the ever-living out of him.
Yeah.
So
this is beyond the line of entertainment and action and competition. This is beyond that line, man. David Drake needs to pay for this.
All right, YouTube, we're going to sign off. Again, thank you guys so much. For myself, John Deathdrop, Coast Crusader, Marky Pins. We'll try and keep you guys informed on the ongoing situation with Lucas. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy, and we'll see you this Tuesday for Reignited. Thank you all.